Hey guys, welcome to Potato Reads Reddit. I'm Potato, and today we have an OP who has decided to go back on a promise that she made to her husband in regards to the naming of their child and their last name. Alright guys, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe and that notification bell too if you feel like it. It really does help the channel, and we are going to get into the stories right away. And our first story is from a string of numbers. Am I the asshole for refusing to give my unborn son my husband's last name? I, 26 female, have been married to my husband, 31 male, for 3 years, and we're expecting a baby boy together. When I married my husband, I kept my maiden name, which he was perfectly okay with. We already discussed this and agreed that any future kids will automatically take his last name. His family considers this a huge deal, and I decided to just go with it. But recently I started thinking about it a lot more and figured that it would be unfair for my unborn son to take my husband's family name and not mine. I talked to my family and they said my husband and in-laws are ridiculous to push this on me without a compromise, expecting I'd go with it. So I went home and told my husband that I've changed my mind about the last name thing and want to either have both our last names combined or my last name to be given to our son. He was confused, saying we had an agreement, and then asked what was the cause of this sudden change of mind. I told him, and he said I can't just do that, and called me selfish when I pointed out that I'm the mother, I get a say too. We went back and forth on this, and he said no way, he and his family will let me do this to his son, as if my last name is a disgrace. We had a fight and we stopped talking after this. He said that I broke and violated my part of the deal, and I should just deal with it now because I won't accept it. Am I the asshole? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. Because I initially agreed to let my husband give our future kids his family name. Now I've changed my mind. Okay, OP, so what you say is absolutely true. You're the mother, you get a say. You have every right to change your mind. All of these things are fact. But what is also fact is that you did make this agreement and then you completely blindsided your husband and turned it into a fight and a major argument. And your family egged you on because your family should not be countermanding or undermining decisions that you've already made in your marriage. So that's a boundary that you should really be drawing with your family. So This should have been something that you asked him about. Hey, do you mind if we change this agreement? This is what I've been thinking. Instead of just making a unilateral decision, because this is the stuff that divorces are made of. Yeah, OP. I'm gonna go with a very soft, you're the asshole. Okay, guys, I'd love to know what you guys think down in the comments below, and we're gonna move on to the comments from the post. Unknown String of Numbers says, what's with people on the sub lately talking to their biological family about their marital issues and not first conversing with their spouse? Edit for judgment, you're the asshole. Teep Show 76 says, there may be a correlation to people running to their families before their spouses over issues and them being assholes. Catching Fiend Fry responds to that saying, or correlation between people asking the internet for help/judgment about their spouse before actually talking with their spouse. Split Level 17 responds to that saying, the only reason I am in this sub is to read tone-deaf posts from assholes. Glassbear1609 says, well said. I remember a quote that says, be careful what you tell your family about your spouse. While you may forgive him, they may never. Seriously, people are creating issues in their marriages and relationships, forgetting that it's you and your spouse in the partnership and not Auntie X or Mummy Dearest. Baybear3 says, you literally mentioned that you had this promise at least since you were married, and have both discussed and agreed. He is right to be upset knowing you have already agreed and it's a big deal to his family, which you are aware of. In my opinion, you're the asshole. Not for wanting to include your last name, but for promising your husband his last name for the kids, and then going back on that and starting a huge fight over something you guys had already agreed upon a while ago. It must be out of nowhere for him. Yes, you are the wife and future mom, but that doesn't mean you can just switch sides and go back on your word whenever you feel like it. Succubus Dreams responds to that saying, I agree, you're the asshole for all the above points. Plus, I notice how when having a change of mind, OP speaks to her family, then comes home with an ultimatum. Why not just speak with your husband instead? Mom on the coast replies to that saying, I never discuss marital issues with my friends or family. It's not their marriage and they shouldn't have any input. Family especially is an incredibly biased source. Alright guys, that's it for that story. Why don't you let me know what you thought down in the comments below and we will move on to the next one, which was posted by Verosis133. Am I the asshole for telling my 35 male, half-brother 13 male, that I don't want to be his friend and actually want nothing to do with him at all? My mom got remarried to her current husband 14 years ago. He's an okay man, but my dad will always and forever be my number one. When they announced to me that a baby was on the way, I freaked out. I told them then and there that I don't want to ever be involved in this kid's life. I find it super weird that he's 22 years my junior. I'm old enough to be his damn dad. Why did mom even need to have another child at 42? That baby fever was strong, apparently. I found the entire thing disgusting, to say the least. The years go by, and when my half-brother was around 10 years old, he started saying how much he wanted to meet me. After a lot of nagging from my mother, I said, whatever, forget it, alright, I'm gonna do it. From our first encounter, he basically clinged on to me. For the past 3 years, he has constantly tried to make me like and accept him, but I just can't do it. He's a nice person and all, but I still find my mom's actions nasty, so I involuntarily associate him with that. I can't help it. I never wanted a sibling. Yesterday, he was over at my place and kept on asking me to watch a movie with him, which I didn't want to do. I ended up going off on him and told him that I don't want to be his friend and actually want nothing to do with him at all. He immediately started crying and apologizing to me, saying that he doesn't have any friends and gets bullied at school for his introverted nature, and that he just doesn't understand why I despise him so much. He said that he's so tired of feeling rejected all the time when all he does is being good to everyone. He said sorry one more time, told me that despite my huge hatred toward him, he still loves, admires, and respects me a lot. Then he runs out of the house. He hasn't reached out to me ever since. Alright, so it looks like the mods dropped the ban hammer a whole bunch on this day, so there's no YOP is the asshole rant thing here, and I see that the be civil thing is crossed out, and I'm going to cross it out too. And I want to apologize to my listeners before I get into this. If you want, the links are in the description for the chapters. You can move on to the next story if you want, but I am going to be less than civil at the moment. Okay? So, first, the reason I'm not going to be civil. This guy is the same age as me, so I am going to speak as though I am speaking to somebody... Well, I'm going to speak as though I'm speaking to somebody that's my equal that I just saw do this to a kid. You are a grade A asshole, and if you were in front of me, I would probably hit you. You do not say that kind of thing to a child. It doesn't matter how you feel about them, what the circumstances are. That is the kind of not a 35-year-old man saying that to a child. That is straight up abuse. You don't deserve anything. You're going to get your wish because he's not going to be in your life. However, I am terrified that this kid is not going to be in your life in the worst possible way. Okay? You might be the last rejection that could push this kid over the edge. You are, without a doubt, the biggest asshole I have ever read on this thread, and I hope to God that you are a troll. Because even trolling is not really okay. But good Lord, you do not ever say something like that to a child. Not unless, because, this is some Archer level nonsense. Okay, this is the kind of stuff that, it's obvious you've never been punched in the face. That's how bad this stuff is. So, yeah, OP, you are the king of the assholes. Come grab your crown. I hope you hear this. And we're going to move on to the comments from the post. Question Few says, you're the asshole. Dude, you're an adult. Act like it. Quaaluder says, OP is such a total asshole, I question if this is even real. No way an actual adult would behave like this unless he completely lacks self-awareness. Chiquita Banana Kush says, you're the asshole. Quote, my mom's action's nasty, so I involuntarily associate him with that. What? Dude, get therapy. Are you asexual or a virgin? / sex and babies are norms. Your mom had to have sex with your dad to produce you. You're 42 years old. The world doesn't revolve around you. Why would you invite him over to your place if you hate the innocent child so much? You are / were unnecessarily cruel. Parchment and Pencil says, don't taint us aces, good name with that. I assume that aces stands for asexual. Recent Register 239 says, you're the asshole. You're an adult. He's a child. He doesn't deserve to be treated like garbage because of how you feel about your parents' divorce. I can't imagine how he must have felt this whole time, trying to be good enough for his older brother. Why even stay in contact with your mother if you were going to emotionally torture her child? Please strongly consider therapy. Leatherhog responds to that saying, I handled my parents' divorce better and I was in Head Start. Make a Mermaid says, you're the asshole. Your mother's decision to have a child at 42 isn't weird or gross. You're now 35 and taking out your mommy issues on a child. That's the only gross thing here. It's sad they look up to somebody like you. Get some help, work on your issues. Hazrab says, he's 35 and makes no mention of him having kids currently. There's a large possibility if he wants kids, he will be 42 when he has them. His attitude is so strange. Alright guys, that's it for that story and comments. Sorry for getting a little uncivilized there, but I cannot stand seeing grown men treating young children that way. It just makes me sick. Okay, so why don't you let me know what you thought down in the comments below, and we're going to move on to the next story, which was posted by Lowsman102. Am I the asshole for not consulting my girlfriend on a big decision? So I, 29 male, own my house, and my girlfriend of 2 years, Molly, 28 female, stays over frequently. So our situation is that Molly doesn't like her apartment, so she stays most of the week at my house. I'm cool with it as I love having her around, obviously. I pay for all the bills and have never asked Molly to contribute. She does buy groceries for us and will buy crafty items for the house. But she's never been asked to financially contribute as she still has her own apartment she stays at about once or twice a week. I'd say the cooking and cleaning is split at my place pretty fair, with us each doing about 50-50. We haven't discussed moving in together or anything like that. So I have a finished basement that isn't really being used but is a great space. Molly has always had these plans to make it into something. I've always wanted to make it my man cave, but Molly wanted to make it like a basement living room and dining space. She would always watch HGTV and say things like, see, we could turn that basement into this. But we haven't made any sort of decision in over a year and the space was being left unused. So Molly left last week for a week-long trip to see her parents. During that time, my best friend Shay stayed for a week due to some housing issues at her place. One night I was scrolling through TikTok and saw this badass man cave setup. I talked to Shay about the idea and she was down too. We went to Home Depot that night and started the project. We designed everything and over the course of a week finished everything. Painted, designed the bar, built the bar, found an old ping pong table on Marketplace, got all my sports memorabilia out of boxes, hung a ton of pics, hooked up a speaker and projector system. We created this really badass man cave. Shay works in construction, so she offered a lot of experience, and I wouldn't have been able to do it on my own. When Molly got home on Sunday, she flipped out, saying she couldn't believe I did this without consulting her. I was kind of ticked off because it looked awesome and she didn't even say anything positive. Just got offended she wasn't consulted. I said she doesn't pay for the house, didn't have any real plans for the space. It's my house and I don't see why I need to consult her to make a decision on my house. She's been acting all standoffish since and won't even hang out in the basement while I'm spending a lot of my time here. My friends say that I'm right and it's my place. That we're not married or even living together, so it's my choice what happens to my house. But my mom called me an idiot. Am I the asshole? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I think not consulting your girlfriend on any decision is an asshole move, but I didn't think it would be a big deal. OP, your mom's right, you're an idiot. There needs to be a new flair. You're not an asshole, but you are a dumbass. because that's what this is. This is a dumbass. Your wife has been watching shows, HGTV, pointing out things she'd like to do with the space and whatnot, and you just up and turned it into whatever, your man cave. And it's your house, you pay for it, you own it, it's yours, you're not married, you don't have shared assets, she still has her own place. That being said, you said you like having her around, right? Well, this is a really good way to not have her around. So, yeah, you're not an asshole, but you are a dumbass, and that's the ruling I'm gonna go with on this. So let me know what you guys thought down in the comments below, and we're gonna move on to the comments from the post. Temporary Badger says, you two have been together 2 years, are almost 30, and have had conversations in the past about potential mutual plans for the house. She's clearly thinking that marriage is on the horizon and that she'll move in and merge finances. You're thinking, man cave time. So yeah, technically you had every right to do this, but you also clearly communicated to your girlfriend that the two of you aren't on the same page. No assholes here, but you are a bit clueless and self-involved. Also, why would she want to hang out in your man cave? Isn't that kinda the point? Opagi says, you're the asshole. The it's your house, you do whatever you want responses are technically correct, but that doesn't make them correct for your relationship. Your communication skills here were sorely lacking. You're in a serious relationship and you practically live together. It seems pretty clear to me, and likely Molly, that the trajectory of this relationship is such that in some time it will be viewed as the home of both of you. She had already discussed with you possible plans for that space and how you might use it together, and it doesn't sound like you shut them down, so yeah, she was probably a little peeved when you nullified those plans without even a heads up. It strikes me as a very odd that while she was out of town for a week, you didn't once mention in text or a call that you were doing a major home renovation. That feels deliberate. Katie Jane's TNA says, I'm not going to say you're an asshole because it's your house and she doesn't live there, so it is more or less your decision. But probably you and her are expecting to move in together eventually, and you just made absolutely sure she won't ever feel at home in your house. Alright guys, that's it for that story. Why don't you let me know what you thought down in the comments below, and we'll move on to the next one, which was posted by AdRecent2210. Am I the asshole for judging my girlfriend for getting her nails done? Some background. Me, 21 male, and my girlfriend, 23 female, live together and split rent. This is our 4th month living together. During our 3rd month together in December, my girlfriend told me she couldn't afford to spend half her rent because she works under the table and took time off to be with me on a family trip. I paid for all of the rent for 1 month. Then I noticed my girlfriend going on spending sprees and paying for $500 lip injections and multiple trips to the spa and nail salon. 2 days ago, my girlfriend came home from the nail salon and I ignored her and didn't ask to see her nails or toes like I normally do. The next day she texted me and told me that she felt that I was judging her for getting her nails done, and I told her that I wasn't going to lie to her and that I was judging her for getting her nails done and trips to the spa and all the money she has been spending that could have easily gone to her half of the rent. I am about 1 year away from my bachelor's degree, and I've managed to pay for the degree all myself using my own money. Oh, congratulations, OP. Last month was the first month I've ever had to put school money on a credit card because I need the money to pay her half of the rent. Now that I have spent that money on rent, I have to put grocery bills and power bills on and other bills on my credit card for the first time. I explained this all to my girlfriend, and she told me that I am an asshole for judging her for doing something that makes her feel pretty, and that I should feel good knowing that I'm with a woman who wants to look good for me. She also told me that we have split our finances, and that I have no right to judge her for what she wants to spend money on. Am I the asshole for judging my girlfriend for getting her nails done? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. The action I took, it is me being an asshole, is judging my girlfriend for getting her nails done and spending money they could have gone towards rent or paying me back for rent. This action could make me an asshole because no one should judge their partner. OP, with the bait and switch, you totally did not you didn't title this correctly at all. What it should be is, am I the asshole for judging my girlfriend for spending the rent money on meaningless junk? And no, you're not the asshole at all. That's a horrible thing your girlfriend just did to you. There's a bunch of different things going on here. There's some gaslighting going on. There's some emotional manipulation going on. There's a few red flag behaviors going on, and you guys are so young. I mean, living together is fine, but you're so young. You're gonna run into this stuff throughout your life. She's not the one, dude. I'm sorry, but she's not the one. And she's gonna use you and keep using you. She's using you now, and she's gonna keep using you, and she's putting your education at risk. She should be offering. My wife, I know, would be offering to pay more of the rent to help me get through school and to pay off school faster. So this is not the one for you, man. You need to get rid of her. You need to get rid of that apartment, move in somewhere you can afford on your own, and move on, because she's using you, dude. That's not right. Okay, so that's about all I have to say about that. Why don't you guys let me know what you thought down in the comments below, and we will move on to the comments from the post. Alright, so Teddy VM here has done a bit of investigation looking into OP's past posts. And as I've told you guys before, I read these stories with you. I don't read I read the story, then I give my judgment based off the story, then I read the comments. So when I flipped over to this comment, it made me think that I might be changing my judgment. So Teddy VM says, if you read this guy's past posts, it's a totally different story. Apparently the girlfriend is working on a 6-month program to get a certification for a new job that will pay much more. She is currently working under the table as a caregiver. In December, he volunteered to pay her part of the rent because she was getting less hours due to the holidays. The only reason she can't pay rent this month is that they both found out in the last week that her mom stole her debit card and drained her accounts. This isn't someone being irresponsible. This is someone who got robbed at a really unfortunate time, and it sounds like she didn't know she got robbed until after she got her nails done. I'm not saying the girlfriend is being super responsible here, but OP is clearly telling a super biased version and leaving a lot of details out that were in his previous post. I just want to ask a Q123 says, Jesus Christ, not the asshole. But I'd ask the girlfriend to pay her half of the rent from that month. She obviously does have the money. You struggle financially because of her, and she is getting her nails done instead of paying you back for the rent? What the heck? Edit. I'm going to leave my previous judgment here, but OP, you're the asshole. You come here to be judged and purposefully withhold information from us so that we bash your girlfriend? Not cool. Not cool at all. I hope that poor girl realizes that you are a walking red flag and takes some steps towards better life, ideally without you in it. You're the asshole. Nana Leone says, not the asshole. You're not judging her for getting her nails done. You're evaluating that she is stiffing you on the rent and other shared expenses, mooching off you, and she has no intention of stopping. Sometimes it takes living with a person to learn what they are really like. Now you know what she's like. Is this what you want for years to come? Alright, so that's the last comment. So I'm going to change my judgment after looking at some of these other these comments, aside from Nana Leone. OP has obviously withheld information. His girlfriend had been robbed by her own mother, and he still expected rent, and judged her for getting her nails done, which, as it turns out, she got done before she realized that her mother had stolen her money. So OP lied to us to try and get us to bash his girlfriend, which I totally agree with one of the previous commenters. That is 100% not cool, and totally the wrong subreddit to be doing that in, because you will get no sympathy from anybody in r/am I the asshole. So I am 100% changing my vote to you're the asshole. Okay, that's all we have for today. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe and that notification bell too if you feel like it. It really does help out the channel a whole lot. Also, leave us a comment down below. Let us know what you thought of the stories, what you think of the channel, what you think of what we're doing, what we could do better, any stories that we've missed. I'd love to hear from you. Alright, so I'd like to thank you for spending your time with me today, this 20 minutes to a half an hour. It really does mean the world to me, and I can't show enough gratitude to you guys for spending your time with me, okay? So I hope you guys have a really great day. Bye!